All right. Andy Ruiz says Anthony Joshua's not a very good fighter, and he's going to beat him again. And Alberto Machado just showed us why it is ridiculous for Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua to take this Ruiz fight straight off. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. All right. As we know, Anthony Joshua is no longer the heavyweight champion. He's no longer the heavyweight champion because Andy Ruiz beat him pillar to post in New York a couple of weeks ago in his Anthony Joshua's debut in the United States at Madison Square Garden. It was going to be the coming of the new king to the United States. It was going to be a British American takeover, and he forgot that he's not that good. Been saying that for a long time, but I've said that I didn't think he was that good. Not that he was not good, but that he was not so head and shoulders above the rest of the heavyweights that he couldn't screw around and get beaten. But people didn't want to hear it, but we saw it in the ring, and Andy Ruiz is saying the same thing after he showed you the same thing. Anthony Joshua's not that good. I'm going to beat him again. And then when he beats him again, Anthony Joshua will then be done. It makes as a top tier heavyweight. And he's doing the exact same thing that Alberto Machado just did. If you're not familiar with Alberto Machado is a 5'10" WBA WBA regular champion who got knocked out in his last fight versus Cancio. You forgive me if I mispronounce his name, Andrew Cancio. He's a Golden Boy fighter. Excuse me. Machado was a Golden Boy fighter. He was supposed to be somebody that could beat Gervonta Tank Davis, who is the WBA super champion. But in between the 5'10", and remember, the reason I'm saying these guys are similar is because Alberto Machado at 130 pounds, hope I didn't say 126 pounds, but at 130 pounds has a lot of the same qualities that Anthony Joshua had at heavyweight. He is extremely big. He looks extremely strong. He's long. He looks like the perfect 130 pounder. And he got in the ring with the Mexican Andrew Cancio, and he got the brakes beaten off of him. They thought, it's a fluke. I didn't train right. I probably should have moved up in weight. I wasn't, whatever the excuses were. And then what did Oscar De La Hoya do with Cancio, with Machado? He put him right back in there in his very next fight with the guy that knocked him out the fight before. And what happens to the young fighter, because I think this is his 21st or 22nd fight. Sound familiar? Big, tall, strong, looks dominating, gets in there with a guy, a Mexican journeyman that he thinks he should beat, winds up getting knocked out, then it takes an immediate rematch. Sound like anybody else we know, minus the British accent? He jumps in there and he gets knocked out again, but quicker. Because Cancio didn't have any worries about him. He knew what he brought to the table. It wasn't the fact that the excuses that the guy made, that Machado made. It was because Machado's just not that good. He didn't have enough strength to keep this guy off of him. I believe Cancio got cut in the first or second round, and was bleeding, right? So it's not like Machado didn't get his 2 pounds of flesh in it, similar to Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz, the knockdown. But I'm telling you, these guys, those Mexican fighters, they will keep coming at you. They can crack. They fight tough competitions. They fight tough competition all the time. because there's so many good Mexican fighters, so many B+, C+, B-, B, and B+ Mexican fighters. And they get trained in a way where they know, I'm telling you, those guys are king. They're myth busters. They're bubble busters. And if Anthony Joshua gets in with this bubble buster, Andy Ruiz again, more than likely he's gonna get beat. And I don't care what the odds say. It is absolutely positively ridiculous for Eddie Hearn to be taking this chance with Anthony Joshua. So yeah, maybe he does. Say he gets his belts back. Then what? Then what? He still didn't learn the things that got him beat the first time. But anyway, I personally agree with Andy Ruiz. I just don't think he's as good a fighter as Andy Ruiz is. Max Kellerman said something that I didn't completely agree with it, but he talked about the reason why Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua was that Andy Ruiz, and I'm going to give it to somebody that knows what they're talking about. Chris Arreola. Chris Arreola said the reason that Andy Ruiz can beat Anthony Joshua is because Andy Ruiz has been fighting in the amateurs, and he fought real tough competition in the amateurs, and he had a very long amateur background. He's been fighting since he's 6 years old. He ain't scared of Anthony Joshua. He wasn't impressed with Anthony Joshua. It also didn't hurt that Andy Ruiz had just fought. Right? He's a young fighter. He's a strong fighter. I don't get it. I do not get why Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua are doing this. But so be it. Make your dumb decision. All that's going to do is lead to what I think is the inevitable conclusion of all of this regardless, which is that we're going to see who the best heavyweight in the world is when Deontay Wilder fights either Andy Ruiz or Tyson Fury. I would love for Andy Ruiz, if Andy Ruiz, the good side of Anthony Joshua taking this fight with Andy Ruiz is when he gets beat again, then Andy Ruiz will be free to fight Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder and he can have a unification fight. I think that will actually make it possible because Andy Ruiz is signed with the PBC. Andy Ruiz I do not believe that Andy Ruiz is going to play a bunch of games with those belts. I don't believe that he's going to say, I don't know. I think I'm the A side. The only, I want, here, Deontay, here's a $12 million flat fee. I need to offer you $12 million. I want $60 million for the fight, Deontay. We're not going to go through all of that nonsense, but I would like to remind you that the reason that we probably were going through all of that was displayed when Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz. But that being said, I don't believe that Andy Ruiz is going to play those games. I don't believe that he's going to play the games that Tyson Fury's playing, because Tyson Fury's playing games. Tyson Fury's playing games. Bob Arum's playing games. I'll believe that fight with Anthony Joshua and the fight with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury is going to happen when it's actually announced and Tyson Fury is walking into that ring. It might have helped that Tyson Fury flopped though in Las Vegas, and that he did. 5,000 tickets sold in Las Vegas, 882,000 revenue from that fight. I'm not quite sure. And it's ESPN Plus. So ESPN Plus, I do think, comes out of a budget. So, it wasn't a big money maker out there with Tom Schwartz, but I don't think, Tom Schwartz, he probably didn't think it was going to be the case. But seeing as it didn't do well, maybe that will honestly push Tyson Fury along a bit further, quicker to try to make that rematch. I think the only thing that would rightfully hold it up is if Tyson Fury started trying to ask for, what Bob Arum is asking for, which is, 50-50 splits with Deontay Wilder. I don't know why Tyson Fury would get a 50-50 split with Deontay Wilder unless Deontay Wilder's being nice, because Tyson Fury has no belts. Tyson Fury pump faked him pump faked him the first time on the rematch. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But look, man, the heavyweight division has been very, very interesting. I really hate the fact that Anthony Joshua is going to jump out there and fight Andy Ruiz again, because more than likely he's going to get beat. You know, I don't think a little bit of rest and, you know, the same trainer and, you know, bearing down and gritting your teeth is really going to make him overcome what happened to him. He's not like he had a flash knockout where, you know, in the heavyweight division, you can get clipped by anybody. He got beat up. He got outboxed on the inside. He got beat up when they clinched, he was getting beat up. Every time he let his hands go and tried to attack Andy Ruiz, he proved he really can't hurt Andy Ruiz, and Andy Ruiz wound up hurting him badly 4 times and ending the fight. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.